Hi, everybody. This is Julie Reeder with Reader Media and Village News, and we're with Dr. Mark Hoffman. And we're going to introduce Dr. Mark, as he's lovingly known around town. And then he is going to do the interview with Pastor Mike Anderson from Christ the King. So, Dr. Mark.
Yes.
What are you a doctor of?
I'm a doctor of psychology.
Okay.
Specifically, educational psychology.
Okay, what is that?
Well, I started out working in schools as a school psychologist.
Yeah.
I did that for 6 or 7 years, worked with kids, mostly elementary kids, but also junior high and high school children.
Yeah.
And just loved every minute of it. Just enjoyed it so much. And I could tell stories all day long, but I won't. I've been told I should write a book, but I've also said, well, nobody would believe what was in the book.
I've heard your story.
You've heard some of the stories,
yeah,
you wouldn't believe it either.
Yeah.
And then we moved from California to Colorado with 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. And frankly, I didn't want to raise them in downtown San Diego, especially the 2 girls, after the stories that I had to deal with kids at the schools.
Right.
And so we moved to Colorado Springs, Colorado, and lived there for many, many years, about 20 years or so. And also I was in private practice for 20 years out there, because I didn't realize that working for schools, I couldn't even make the house payment. So here I built this big house. At the last minute, I'm going, how are we going to make this first payment? And school starts in 1 month. And anyway, it was amazing. It was a miracle that it all came about. And we lived there for many, many years.
So when did you come back to California?
Kids are all grown and have 7 grandchildren. And Karen, my wife, is an architect. And I retired, but she hasn't. And she was at the Air Force Academy, and she got laid off. And so she started looking around, and she said, wow, there's this place called Camp Pendleton. I said, oh, of course, we've been there. And so we came out and interviewed. I took her for a sailboat ride, and she loved it. And I romanced her all the way back here from Colorado Springs. So here we are, and I still stay busy working in the schools, teaching children and enjoying them. And I'll be up at a camp this summer with children who've been sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally abused, who are in foster care and in the human services system. And it's a 2-on-1. So I'm so excited to have 2 kids that I can just dote on.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Right. So I know you volunteer around town at different places.
A lot of places.
But the thing that sticks out in my mind is you singing to the ladies at the.
Oh my goodness! Did I tell you that?
Or no, somebody else did.
Oh, yes.
But where? What it was at? It was.
Yeah, it was Fallbrook Skilled Nursing.
The skilled nursing facility. That's right. Is that the only place you've done that?
No, I sing everywhere.
Do you go to Silvergate too?
I've sung at Silvergate like professionally.
Okay, that's what I thought.
The whole thing, really dramatically. I still sing to my kids out at the elementary schools.
Mm-hmm.
I'm known as the singing sub because I substitute teach from school to school. So I'm the singing sub. And I actually broke into song when I met this person I'm going to be interviewing, Pastor Mike. And I sang softly and tenderly, Jesus is calling. Anyway, I sang that, and he was.
Is that what caused him to want to come to Fallbrook?
That's part of it. Yeah. Of course it is. I'm famous at least within Fallbrook, I guess. I didn't know that.
Well, that really touched me because I thought, how sweet for you to go over there and sing with those ladies. Did you also dance with some of them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought I remembered.
I honestly, I'll be honest with you. I was just in love with those little ladies. They were so cute. Yeah. Just cute. And we would have, you remember the movie about Patch Adams? You remember that?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So I sort of emulated him and became a lot like him.
Yeah.
And, being manic depressive, when I get manic, it's more fun, right? And so I would have these wheelchair races. And I'd say to the little lady, go, now, if you don't want to do this, we won't do it, okay? But you want to go like at the drag strip where they go as fast as they can go? And she goes, yeah, go ahead. And we would just go tearing down the hallway. I mean, just tearing down the hallway when nobody was down there. And they just laugh and giggle and tee everything. But anyway, I brought a few tears to the ladies' eyes and always gave them hugs and kisses on the head. And I remember those days just beautifully.
Now that probably stopped for COVID.
Stopped for COVID. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And I started actually when the old hospital shut down because I was working there. And then out of the blue, they just sent me over there and I just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Never quit. I was there almost every day.
Wow.
I loved it. I actually gave eulogies when people would die and because we all knew them so well.
Sure.
It was a big family down there.
Well, thank you for being here and thank you for interviewing Pastor Mike for us.
Yeah. Oh, it was a great pleasure. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed that. And he's a fine man. Good. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
We'll see. You have to prove himself first, right?
We'll see. I'm kidding. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Well, welcome to the Village newspaper here in Fallbrook, California. And we have a new visitor who's going to be here hopefully permanently. His name is Pastor Mike Anderson. If you've really had a hard time with COVID and you're just coming out of a terrible depression or fog or loss of a family member, I think you ought to listen to what Pastor Mike has to say. So, Pastor Mike, again, welcome to Fallbrook and the Village newspaper. How can you help us here in Fallbrook?
Well, I don't know if I can help you, but I know that God can help you. So it's a real blessing for me to be called to Christ the King in Fallbrook. I'm real excited about the ministry. I was in Irvine for 16 years as a pastor, and through a series of events, God called me to be a pastor of the church in Fallbrook. And so in terms of what I think I can particularly do, I think I have a pastor's heart. But most importantly, I think the church I serve is a place where people can find some hope amidst sort of some difficult times during COVID. So I'm real excited to be here and love Fallbrook, by the way. I think I've tried every Mexican restaurant in the town.
Well, we have
all of them.
We have plenty of them.
They're all good so far. So I've only gained about 10.
Well, tell me, Pastor Mike, I think most people would like to know why a pastor becomes a pastor. So why did you become a pastor?
Thank you. That's a great question. So I became a Christian. I grew up in the Lutheran church and through 8th grade and was confirmed. But it really wasn't until high school that I would describe it as coming to know Christ personally. So it became more of a personal relationship, which started my whole journey really in faith. Originally, I thought I might become a pastor, but the whole idea of being a pastor was highly intimidating. So I kind of ran from it. I went to college, University of Iowa, joined a fraternity and strayed from my walk with God, but then came back to the Lord in Chicago, in a big church, suburban Chicago. And for about 4 years, really grew in my faith. And through that process, felt a call to become a pastor and went to seminary in 1991, Pasadena, Fuller Seminary in Pasadena.
Great. Okay. Well, what do you think Christ the King itself as a church offers to our community here in Fallbrook?
Well, I think it offers. I've been here 6 months, and I can only speak from experience, but I felt completely welcomed. The people are amazing. I would say it's a very non-judgmental environment where people, what I've heard so far, we have a new members class on Sunday, 25 new members, by the way, which is awesome. What I found is people say when they come to Christ the King, they found a home. And they feel welcome, like they've come home, which to me is what a church is all about. A place of refuge, especially as I mentioned before, with everything that's happening in our society, division, whether it's political division or all kinds of issues that are raised that tend to polarize people. The church needs to be a place where people feel safe, not judged, hear the message of God's love, unconditional love for them, and get to know other people that can walk the journey of life with them and be there for them when they go through life's challenges. And that's really the kind of place I've experienced Christ the King to be. So I think in today's kind of stormy culture, it can be a real anchor for people, a church like Christ the King.
Excellent. So it sounds like it's a place of love. That's unconditional. There's no conditions on the love. And it sounds like you and your church have 4 people.
Yes.
And what's important to me is that there's no judgment. And I think there's many younger people today and older people too that have probably felt judged by the church over their lifetime. And maybe that's why they really don't want to have anything to do with Christianity. And it sounds like you're a safe place for those people to go that may not even be Christians.
Yeah, I think that you bring up a great point. And as a Christian, I mean, our model is Jesus Christ. And if you look at Christ and his ministry, the only persons he had judgment for were the people who were religious, hypocritical, like very
true.
Very judgmental. So when you see Jesus's life, whether it was a tax collector or the woman who had many husbands, all the marginal people that were marginalized in society, Jesus accepted them. Yeah. And that's what changed their life. Yeah. So if you want to really transform someone's life, we believe that, as Jesus loved you, we're called to love people. And that's what really changes people's lives. They don't need to know that they're a bad person. Most of us know.
We all know that.
Most of us know our faults. We just need to know that God has a plan and loves us for who we are.
Yeah. Excellent. And I like that. Loves us for who we are.
Yes.
Good and bad. Yeah, that's it. I think everyone needs that in life.
And also loves us too much to let us stay where we're at. So he loves us, and he wants, in my own life, through coming back to Christ, I think he gave me the life really that I've always wanted. I was clinging on to some things that I thought were bringing me life, but they were bringing me just the opposite. So what I found out is that the way Jesus has called us to live is the greatest way to live. And that's what has happened becoming a pastor. And 25 years of being a pastor, it's been great seeing people's lives.
So it sounds like it's not religion, it's relationship.
You hit on the head. Yeah. Most people see the church, any really church, whatever belief system, is a lot of rules, a lot of somewhat condemnation. I can't measure up. Right. Whereas in the Christian faith, it's all about a relationship. Instead of trying to work my way up to God, God came down to us to show us the full extent of God's love. So it's a whole different system that God became one of us, knows who we are. Jesus wept when his best friend Lazarus had died. And so it's a real incarnation of God's love. So it's about us loving God because he accepts us unconditionally.
I think so many people today have, the old song, they've been looking for love, but it's been in all the wrong places. You're not going to find it in the bar, I'm sorry, but not real love. And people are looking for the true love, and they get so sidetracked. Girls get pregnant outside of marriage, and they don't know what to do, and guys, they want frankly just go from girl to girl, and they're looking for love in the wrong ways, at least, if not the wrong places. And it sounds like you have a place for those people to find some answers and maybe find real love.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a foundational verse is when Jesus says, I've come to give you life and life to the full. So that's what we want to be at our church, is really offering that abundant life, which frees people to be who they're intended to be. And quite frankly, that's what our world needs. Yeah, that's exactly people who have been free to give the way they've been given.
I think now, especially the COVID's over.
Yeah, the other thing I would like to add is that, during COVID, I know people really, especially the people that are starting to come back to our church, really miss the community, and they miss other people walking alongside of just the human interaction in our church on the patio, whether it's coffee or donuts. We're just finding that people are starved for community and human touch and relationship. So we've been committed to keeping our church open, even meeting outside.
Wow.
Because we know people, that's what the church is. The church is the people. It's not the pastor. It's the people that gather together. And it's been beautiful to watch that, especially on Easter morning when we saw the sun come up and shine on the cross. So the community aspect is huge right now for the church.
My understanding, Pastor Mike, is that your church has been open every Sunday throughout COVID, either via internet or live in person.
Yeah, we've tried to have people access our services as live stream and in person and outside when we needed to. Now we're back inside. So we've tried to honor, the mandates and be good citizens, but also realizing that people really need a place to congregate and be given hope.
What it also tells me, Pastor Mike, and maybe you listeners out there will think the same thing, that your church was willing to take a risk to some extent because you had love for the people who needed to have that place of safety, a place of feeling loved and being in community. That's wonderful. It's very commendable.
Yeah.
I don't think all the churches did that. In fact, I think some of the churches are still closed, Pastor Mike. Okay. We went over some of the stereotypes that churches are classified to have. I won't get into all that, but I might end up stereotyping myself. But why don't you tell us a little more about stereotypes and that have to do with church and more about what type of people walk in. And I'm going to just be upfront with you. I have a deep concern for the LGBTQ community and their search for love. They're searching for truth, and they're like every human being. And yet, I think they crave for faith. And I just wondered, and also for the cultural revolution that's going on. There's a lot of hatred going on and terrible things. And I just wondered, would your church be receiving of people from the LGBT community and the Black Lives Matter and people like that?
Sure. Yeah, no, we would welcome all people because God welcomes all people.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'd like to be known for what we're for, not what we're against.
Amen.
So,
is that okay to say in public?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Jesus said, whoever is without sin cast the first stone.
Yeah.
So, all of us come to church broken and we need to hear God's love and forgiveness. And that's across the board. So we don't distinguish in types of things that we would say make you an outsider, because we want all people to feel welcome, to hear the grace of God.
You have some spiritual color blinders on, so you don't see color in the church.
Yeah, no, we see people as children of God. And we baptize an infant. We say, you're a child of God who's been marked by the cross of Christ and sealed by the Holy Spirit forever. So our identity is in how God sees us, which is we're all children of God, made in His image. So we reflect that. And we want to bring that out and draw people out.
Wow. That's the most all-inclusive statement I've ever heard. So very good. Okay, we're going to reach the end here and wind it up a little bit. I imagine you want to try to get that message out to people here in Fallbrook. And I just wondered if you have any events planned that people might be interested in attending to find out this good news, this love that your church has for them in advance. And I just wanted to know if you would look at that. But before we get to that, we'll touch that in a second. I'd like to know, are you married?
Yes, thank you. I would love to talk about my wife and kids. So I'm married to a wonderful wife, Francesca. She's gotten really involved in the church. She's very crafty and working also as a singing in the praise band. So she loves to do that. And it's been great that our church has been so welcoming and just had a lot of volunteers to get involved right away. I have a son who's graduating from high school. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And then a daughter who's 8th grade in junior high. So we're right in the thick of it with 2 wonderful kids, and they've both gotten involved in the church and love the Lord. So I'm totally blessed. I got married a little bit later in life, but it's I always just say love's a choice. As we choose to love people the way God loves us. Marriage is phenomenal. Great help. She's a great helpmate. She's everything that I'm not, and I married way above my pay grade. So the church got a blessing when they called me that they got all her.
I met her. She's a wonderful person.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And where did you come from?
I grew up in the Midwest.
Midwest.
I grew up in the Midwest, and God called me out to California in 1991.
Okay.
And so I've been out here ever since. Definitely miss the Midwest, but California has been pretty fun to be a part of as well.
All right.
Yeah, no shoveling the walk.
No.
3 inches of sleet and snow. So
that way you can actually walk the talk, right?
Exactly.
Walk through the snow.
Exactly. I don't know how to surf yet.
Okay.
I can golf.
We'll work on that. Do you know anything about Irvine? Did you spend time in Irvine?
Yeah, I spent 16 years
16
there,
years.
which is a great community. And right now I'm just very excited to be in Fallbrook. And I think you mentioned something about events.
Yeah, sure.
That, just to give the viewers an idea of some things that might interest you, one of the things we're really excited about planning is a movie night at the Mission Theater in Fallbrook, and showing a great movie called Greater, which is a story of a young man who walks on at a university and plays college football against all the odds, and his Christian faith is what really helps him. And there's other aspects of the story I won't tell. I don't want to ruin the plot, but we're going to invite everyone there. It's going to be a free movie. It's a great movie for kids.
Wow, free movie.
Yeah, free movie. Probably have some popcorn as well. And then also in the summer, we have the Vacation Bible School for all the kids on our campus for a week, and then all kinds of things going on with the youth.
Is there a charge for that, or?
I'm not sure.
No, it's free. Somebody include me in before you think he knows what he's talking about.
We'll find a scholarship if we need it. No, but we're really family centric.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about our church is we have people of all generations.
Wow.
So it's wonderful. What I love to say is it's to have the wonder of a child and the wisdom of the elders, to see that intergenerational environment, which I think is so special. And I think that is where I think that's where God really does some amazing things with people that have the wisdom and gone through life, even older couples with married couples. So that's the environment we really want to encourage at our church. So.
And I also heard, folks, that it'll be free food, so don't eat dinner that night.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on over.
Yeah, we'll have
and we'll be sure
Mike
to
and
get
Ike's and Dots and all the
we'll be sure all have
movie theater.
Yeah. Wow. Anything you'd like to say in closing?
No, I appreciate you, Mark, and your heart for God. And really, I've read this newspaper a couple of times. I think it's really awesome. And so
it's a wonderful paper.
I'm glad that we could be a part of it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, folks, tune in next time, and we'll tell you more about the event that's coming up. I think you'll be interested in that. We'll try to interview somebody else, maybe the other pastors, 2 pastors, so 2 for the price of 1. We'll see if we can get him in here, and maybe we'll do a tour of the church and the campus and some of the things that are going on there that might appeal to you. So we'll see. So stay tuned, and God bless.
Take care. God bless.